how do you feel about what Mr. Brady said about this game?
He's excited for it, and I would be too. This is the first matchup that we're going to see between Brady against the Patriots. This is probably going to be the only time that we're going to actually see this matchup in the rest of Brady's career, because I think this will be the only time that this matchup ever occurs, because usually AFC East teams and NFC South teams only really compete against each other like once every like 4 years. So, but just to kind of dive into what Brady's dad said, he said that the Bucs are basically going to handily beat the Patriots, and that after the Bucs leave Foxborough, the Bucs are going to be 4-0. So he is extremely confident about his son's ability to go out there and perform extremely well against his old team. Now, here's the thing, though, and this is something that I think maybe his dad understands, but maybe kind of like lost sight of it in the moment. The Patriots have a decent defense here. That pass rush that they have is going to be a tough one for the Bucs to deal with. And the secondary is still pretty strong. They still got Devin as the lead safety back there. They still have Stephon Gilmore on the roster. He actually survived all of the trade rumors throughout the draft and is still currently on the team.
It's just crazy to me.
And you're getting all the COVID opt-outs from last year back, except for Patrick Chung. Patrick Chung retired this offseason. So you got Dante Hightower, who is the captain of the defense, and maybe you could say Devin McCourty as well. Like, those are the two captains leading the way. That is not the same defense that we saw last year. This defense is going to be much better than they were last year. They have a better pass rush with adding Matt Judon to the roster and Devon Gotcha from the Dolphins last year. So the main thing with New England, though, is what are they going to be able to produce offensively? New England went out of their way to really try to build up this offense from last season, which was, by all accounts, and I watched all these games, was atrocious. They just really couldn't generate any sort of consistency throughout the season to really put up a decent amount of points. And it was Cam's first season in a new system coming off of a shoulder surgery, and he wasn't necessarily his best. But now that he has a full season under his belt with New England, and now going into his second year with the Pats, I expect him to be in a better position to compete better than he did last year. Yeah. So I think on paper, I think everybody's probably thinking, yeah, the Bucs are going to roll into Foxborough and pretty much do what they're going to do. And I'm not going to go that far. I think it's going to be a much more competitive game. And look, Belichick coached Brady for 20 years. There's not one guy that knows Brady better than Belichick. So correct. He knows how to get to Brady. And really all they got to do is bring some sort of interior pass rush to get him off his spot and feel uncomfortable. And it's very odd for me to talk about Brady this way because he's my guy.
Yeah.
But it's like you have to kind of look at him as an opponent for 1 week, and you got to find out his weaknesses. And it's going to be a pass rush. You have to be able to get a pass rush, and you got to hold up on the back end. And I do think that when you look at the Patriots secondary, they at least have the players that are capable of rising up to the challenge to compete and play decent defense against Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Gronk, AB, Cameron Brate, you name it. Trust me, the Bucs got a squad, but the Patriots defense can hold their own against that team. I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like some people may project, and maybe I think Brady's dad is kind of projecting here, but I think it's going to be a closer game than I think people realize. And it's going to be interesting to see what Cam produces on the offensive side of the ball. That's really the question mark here. And that's the part where maybe Brady's dad is right, just because there are still some question marks with Cam's ability to lead the Patriots offense. But all in all, this is going to be a great matchup. I'm going to love it. I'm going to be right in front of my TV watching it. I believe it's a Sunday night game. So this is probably going to be the most watched Sunday night game of the season. I'd be hard-pressed to find a better game than this one.